with a screamer. Welcome back everyone, and thanks for watching. Got ourselves a Daiwa Catalina 6500 high speed H. This thing has done 1,000,000 Ks. This has seen better days. This is all bent, just very dry and squeaky, rough sounding. Now tell me what you see. I'll just point it out to you. Look at the line there and look at the line there. I'm sure you can see it, the thickness. I think the main shaft is bent. Now if you're going to be catching 300 kilo shark on a reel like this, you're going to bend something, you're going to damage something. Look at the scratches all over this thing. There's no paint left. This reel has really seen better days. Very, very rough. Wow. That's the furthest. That gets close. You can see this is bent. I'm going to try and straighten it out for him. Otherwise we're going to have to order a replacement part. It's about to hit, basically touching. Very, very dry. Carl, you've destroyed this reel, mate, but I didn't expect any less. We're going to open her up, try and get it back into good working order, see what parts need to be changed, if we can save this reel and get it back into good condition. So wish me luck. Before we do anything, let's open up this drag. Someone's washed it. I'm assuming he washed it after use and there's water in there. Water will deteriorate your grease eventually. Now that wash is really stuck in there. There we go. That's your drag stack. I'm going to clean all this up, clean these up, and I'll go back to greasing them and put them back together. Check the condition and put them back together. So that's the drag stack all cleaned up. I'm going to have a chat with him. I'm going to recommend him upgrade to new carbon drag washers. Some of them are better than others, but that top layer has gone smooth, really smooth on some of them. I mean, you're catching sharks, big tunas, kingfish, you're going to wear out your drags. Got it all cleaned up. We put some drag grease and get it all back together. Okay. There we go. Now let's clean this up. Surprisingly still smooth, makes noise, dry. You can hear that? Okay. Got sand in there. A bit difficult to get out. That one's the bearing. Doesn't want to come out. There we go. I'll clean up this. This feels dry. Just keep spinning until the oil seeps through. Eventually it will. It's much better. Beautiful. Now to continue with the rest. There's a little grommet there. There's the pin. Pin fell out. Pin sits in there. We'll clean this up. And the other piece. Might just give it a quick brush off or get rid of all that sand in there. Have a look underneath. Ooh, sand, salt, no mag oil. Yeah, these things had it. These things had a beating. Oil's gone everywhere. The mag oil. There is a rubber seal there. I can take it off. What am I looking at here? See that? That looks worn out. That's had some hard pressure against it. Alright, let's continue. The color of the grease. What is that? Ah, we have a metal shard. Where does that come off? See that metal shard there? Gotta see if it's metal or plastic. I've got a magnet here. Yeah, it is metal. Leave that right here. Dry as a bone. Oh wow. Look at those chunks in there. is actually chunks. I don't know if I could save this one. Doesn't feel very smooth. Yeah. I'm going to put a dot of oil just to see how it changes it. Yeah, it's lost its smoothness. So this bearing will need to be changed. Yeah. Alright. Oh, shit. Alright. I'm going to spray some WD on these. I'm going to let it sit for a while. And I'll come back to it. That one turned. And that one turned. Good. Got it. Just one more. That's really... Oh, got it. Okay. A little shim there, a little washer. As I was saying, sand and salt, everything gets in. After a while, you can see all the scratches and marks on this reel. It's been through war, so it needs a bit of extra TLC, if you get what I mean. This side's not as bad. This side's way more sealed than the other side where the handle is. Let's have a look at the back. You ready? Yeah, right. You should take this off every now and then as well. I'm going to go and get rid of all this sand. That sand in there is all stuck. Couldn't brush it off. I'm going to have to soak that one. I hope these aren't rusted. If they're corroded, you got that one. Any surprises? Nope. The rubber seal around there, I like the Daiwas, they have that. I wish Shimano would come up with something like that. We'll check this side bearing in a minute. Alright, that spring there, that spring goes in that hole there. That helps the anti-reverse. Oh my god, these bearings are busted. These bearings are busted. It's actually exploded. The color of the grease, it's the original color is that color. You can see the hardcore extreme pressures and conditions and everything that's happened to this reel. It's going black. I'm assuming that shard of metal, I'm assuming it came off this. That's where it's come off. His bottom bearing that sits at the bottom of this gear exploded. Oh wow, that's rough. Let's have a look at this shaft, because this was what I saw was bent. Can you see the bend? Let's clean it up. The bend starts from here somewhere, but it really accelerates this part. And I'm assuming because the holes, the bottom hole, it's a bit weaker point. We'll go the other side. And you can see it's leaning right over to the ruler. Leaning right over. When I spin it around, it's leaning away, as you can see. So the shaft is bent. I'm going to clean up the gears, check if the gears are okay, because these things can flow on effect to other things. I'm going to clean them all up. Here's that little spring, we don't want to lose that spring. I can't visually see any damage. But yeah, been through battles. A little spring in there, we can't lose that. All the rust on that. Clean that up. I'm going to clean all this up. Let's just double check if there's any other parts. It's shredded. Get this rule back in good order, hopefully. It's just doesn't need to come off. I'm going to clean it all up, and we'll start putting everything back in bit by bit. I'm going to continue. As you can see, all the parts, I've been waiting for the parts to come through. And what we're replacing is the oscillating gear, damaged, two sides. The shaft was bent. That's the original one. You can probably nearly see it bent. I'll put a ruler against it, you'll see it in a minute. This is the same one off the Saltiga. It's got the metal bearings. The Catalina's got the bushings. So bit of an upgrade. Beautiful. So there's a new one. From Daiwa. Let's open her up. Nice and light. Actually feels lighter, but yeah, it's probably my mind. But there we go, we're changing that. There is a little grommet that sits here. This does have one, but I want to put a new one on it. So we're replacing that. Three bearings, and this is for the pinion gear that sits at the bottom of the pinion gear with the bushing. So I'll just get organised, I'll get all this stuff back out and we'll continue. This is a nice sticky thick grease. It's very sticky, and it's been an old reel and been worn out heaps. This is going to make it really good. Alright, that's what we're using. Okay, so this is for the oscillating gear. I just kept them separate at the time. Got to clean them up. There's a little spring in there, we don't want to lose that. There's that little grommet. Little O-ring. This is brand new, so it doesn't need cleaning. That's the bearing that's sat in there. I'll leave that there. There's a little spring. I'll show you where that goes later. There's a little notch that it sits on there. There's that little O-ring there. Let's get all the old grease off. And that spring sits between those two nipples there. So I've got to be careful I don't send it flying, because I have done that in the past and it's a bloody nightmare. Okay, so we got it on one side, just got to get the other side. Yep, there we go, we got it. They're real sticky stuff, so you don't need too much. The guy had busted gears, busted bearings, and still using it. And I was in shock. The fact that that little O-ring, just put some grease on it. It's got to go over that. Alright, we want to get it to sit there, and then you've got to spread it over like that. She's on there. Alright. Got a bit of grease down the bottom here. Make sure it's all grease smooth. And that can sit right there. Let's put this in. Beautiful. That's that there. These are all clean. So I'm going to grease them up and get them ready. You can see that grease, see how it's so tacky, it sticks? That's beautiful. Love how it sticks. Grease this up. Give it a good amount so it can be nice and smooth, not too much. Not that much. Gonna ride like that. That's the bottom one. That sits on the bottom of the pinion. Okay, let's get all this on. Bearing goes there. I've put a bit of grease on this, on the edge there, just to hold on. Sits there like that. Got the washer that sits here. Main bearing, brand new from Daiwa. Let's get all this on. There we go. Nice and flush. Oh yeah, it's going to be beautiful to use again compared to what it was. Let's get this on. Just tighten them evenly. Okay. there's that little spring there that goes in that hole. That goes to the anti-reverse. There we go. I can hear it working, doing its stuff. Alright, she's gone in. I'm just going to put this aside. Forgot to give this a clean, so I'm just going to clean this up. And I'll be back. Alright, it's all clean. Let's continue. The side bearing. There's the anti-reverse. Okay, a bit of grease there. Okay, that one's in. Okay, another O-ring there. Got to make sure there's an O-ring there. Let's get this on. And that little washer goes there. The mag seal. Just got to clean it up. There's the roller bearings. Just going to clean them, give them a quick wipe. Hopefully they don't fall apart. Oil is all over it. Whoop, it's trying to pop out. See all the oil and grease over it. If you pull this apart, you just got to put it all back together, and it's a bit tricky, but it can be done because it does come out from the bottom here, but then all those bearings pop out and it's a bit of a headache to put back together. Just got a seal along there. There's that seal, don't want to lose that. Sits like that. Seems to get tougher over time to open this, but it's well sealed. See how it just spreads on its own. Wipe off the excess. I'm trying to square it up so it can go into place automatically. Like so. Yep. You can feel it clip in when it gets into place. It's all been cleaned. It's all in its place. Let's have a look at the rotor. Bit of sand in there. And check this out. Wow. A 3mm hex. Yeah, it's tight. A red Loctite on it. I'm going to clean all this up. I'll open up this in a minute. I'm just going to clean her up from all the sand and dirt and grime. I'll be back. It's all been degreased. Just a bit of gunk stuck in there. There's a rubber seal that goes here. That little square that goes there, and there's a washer that sits under there. We can put that on the reel after. I'm going to put it on the side for now. Wow, surprising. Still smooth, but I can't seem to get it out. Bit of gunk on it. This bearing won't come out. It is smooth. Still smooth. So I like this because on this side, that's where the water is going to intrude, and it's got the plastic bushing, which will never rust up, obviously. Put a bit of oil. You can put grease. Size 0. Phillips to get it in there. Gonna have a look at all this. Now I'll put that on. Alright, let's take this off. We've got that goes in the hole, so we've got to remember how to line it up. Clusters going on here. Not too bad. Bit of salt and residue. That spring came out of there. I'll put that back in a minute. Let's clean it up. That sits like that. That washer sits there. Tiny washer. See, this has possibly bent over time. This could have bent out, but we'll see in a minute once we get it back together. Put a bit of grease in there. In there, like so. See how the nipple's sticking up? Now I will pack this with grease. That is possibly bent because it does sit underneath. Got to go right underneath there. Alright. Put a touch of grease on this to hold in its place, and I'll show you where it goes. That sits right under there. Bit of grease on this seal. This O-ring sits right in there. There's a seal, bushing, and there's the bearing. The bearing's great. Let's clean it up. Nice and smooth. There's a bushing. It's got a flange bit that sits up on the top. I don't know if this has got hydrophobic coating on it, but it's pretty dirty, so I'm going to clean it. There's your rubber seal. That's it. So you've got to loosen or tighten it and you'll find the sweet spot. Woohoo! She's back in action. Nearly. Okay, let's have a look at this assembly. Let's clean it all up. This reel has done a lot of battle, been through hell and back. The owner kept using it while the shaft was bent and the bearing was blown, and said, I think there's something wrong with the reel. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, we'll get it all back in working order and get it back out there on the water for him. So the longer one sits down the bottom. Oop. Like so. So that's it, that locks it in down the bottom. The shorter one goes up the top. That O-ring locks in that pin, but before we put that pin, that O-ring on, I'm going to put all this on. And put this on. Alright, there's the pin's still in there, see that? Then you put your O-ring on. Now the O-ring locks in that pin, as you can see. Just put a layer of grease on it, so when it clicks it glides along it nice and smoothly. That's your clicker. Check this is all clean. Ow. Okay, here we go. The moment of truth. so smooth, it's not funny. Compared to what it was, to what it is now, brand new second hand. Beautiful, she's back in action. Want to test this? Yeah, beautiful. Nice and smooth. Beautiful. Daiwa Catalina 6500. We changed the main shaft. That's off and leaf for real. We changed the main shaft. The oscillating gear, as you can see, was broken. Changed the top and bottom pinion bearings, side bearings, and she's good as new. Beautiful. Owner's gonna love it. Guys, hope it was helpful. Keep it real.